The simple cubic unit cell is the simplest repeating unit in a simple cubic structure. Each corner of the unit cell is defined by a lattice point at which an identical atom, ion, or molecule can be found in the crystal. The body-center cubic unit cell is the simplest repeating unit in a body-center cubic structure. Once again, there are 8 identical particles on the 8 corners of the unit cell. However, this time there is 9th identical particle in the center of the body of the unit cell. The face-center cubic unit cell also starts with identical particles on the 8 corners of the cube. But this structure also contains the same particles in the centers of the 6 faces of the unit cell, for a total of 14 identical lattice points. Atoms on the corners, edges, and faces of a unit cell are shared by more than one unit cell. An atom on a face is shared by 2 unit cells, so only half of the atom belongs to each of these cells. An atom on a corner is shared by 8 unit cells, so only 1/8 of an atom on a corner can be assigned to each of the unit cells that share these atoms. Okay, I'm going to turn this orange into a simple cubic unit cell. Let's go. First, cut the orange in half. Be careful with the knife. Then cut the orange into quarter. So I'm going to rotate the orange at 90 degrees. Then we have to cut one more time into 8. Now I'm going to use toothpicks to connect the 8 pieces of orange together inside out. This is the structure of a simple cubic unit cell. Each corner contains 1/8 of an atom. Since there are 8 corners in a cube, simple cubic unit cell has exactly 1 atom. Second, the edge of a simple cubic unit cell is equal to twice the radius of an atom, which will be needed to calculate the packing efficiency. Finally, another characteristic feature of any unit cell is the coordination number, which is the number of particles with which each particle is in direct contact. A higher coordination number means more bonding among particles. Let's take a look at this simple cubic unit cell model. I use 2 different colors for visualization purpose only. First, focus on the gray atom at the center. Then, how many green atoms attach to the gray atom at the center? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For a simple cubic unit cell, the coordination number is 6. The body-center cubic unit cell consists of a cube with 1 particle at each corner, and 1 particle in the very center of the cube. To build the BCC model, we will need 2 oranges. Cut 1 orange into 8. 1 whole orange will be at the very center of the cube and connect the 8 corners together with the second orange. Unlike the simple cubic unit cell, the corner atom did not touch each other. It is the body diagonal that all particles touch each other. Therefore, the edge of a BCC unit cell is equal to 4 over root 3 times the radius of the particle. The coordination number of a BCC unit cell is 8, which means it has more bonding among particles than a simple cubic unit cell. The face-center cubic unit cell consists of a cube with one particle at each corner and one particle in the center of each face. To build the FCC model, we will need 4 oranges. Cut 3 of the oranges in half. Connect the half orange with 4 corners first. It is the face diagonal that all particles touch each other. Therefore, the edge of a FCC unit cell is equal to 2 times root 2 times the radius of the particle. The coordination number of a FCC unit cell is 12, which is the highest compared with the simple cubic and BCC. The face-center cubic unit cell is the simplest repeating unit in a cubic closest packed structure. How can we prove that an FCC unit cell is the closest packing structure? We can calculate packing efficiency.